Pizza originated in the city of Naples, Italy, in the late 17th century. Back then, people began flattening dough, adding simple ingredients on top, and baking it in wood-fired ovens. This traditional style, known as Neapolitan pizza, started out as humble street food for the working poor. Centuries later, Domino's Pizza completely transformed how people enjoy pizza at home. The chain was founded in 1960 by Tom Monahan and his brother in a small town in Michigan. From those modest beginnings, Domino's has grown into one of the largest pizza brands in the world, with over 20,000 stores in more than 85 countries and a global workforce of more than 290,000 employees. Domino's biggest breakthrough wasn't just about flavor, it was about delivery. In the 1960s, the idea of having pizza delivered right to your door was still fairly new. Domino's changed the game with its famous promise: delivery in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. To meet that promise, Domino's operates 25 supply chain centers across the US. Here, fresh dough is made daily, and sauce, cheese, and toppings are carefully prepared using trusted suppliers. All ingredients are then shipped to over 7,000 franchise stores nationwide, where each pizza is assembled and freshly baked on-site, ready to serve customers as quickly as possible. Let's head inside the factory to see how Domino's creates its entirely new dough recipe from scratch. The journey begins in the mixing area, where basic ingredients like oil, water, yeast, salt, and sugar are precisely measured and poured into a massive mixing bowl that weighs up to 800 pounds. Next comes a signature secret ingredient Domino's playfully refers to as the goodie bag. Once it's added to the bowl, a worker uses a giant hand paddle to give the mix a preliminary stir, helping everything blend together. Then flour is added, and the entire mixture is handed off to a powerful industrial mixer, strong enough to knead everything into a smooth, elastic, and perfectly uniform dough. Once mixing is complete, the dough is left to rest for a set period of time. This is when the yeast gets to work, producing two key byproducts: alcohol and carbon dioxide. The alcohol will evaporate during baking, while the CO2 becomes trapped in the dough's structure, causing it to rise and giving it that light, airy texture. After being thoroughly kneaded and rested, the large mass of dough is lifted high and dropped into the hopper of the dough divider. Here, the machine pushes the dough out in portions and slices it into smaller pieces using sharp blades, each cut precisely sized to match the standard dimensions for Domino's pizza crusts. Depending on the need, the machine can be adjusted to portion dough for small, medium, or large pizzas. These smaller dough portions are then sent through a conical spiral chute. As they move through, gentle pressure and rotation cause each piece to roll into a smooth ball, much like hand-rolling dough on a kitchen counter. The result is a series of evenly shaped dough balls with smooth, taut surfaces. This smooth outer layer helps trap the carbon dioxide gas inside during the proofing process. That's what allows the crust to rise evenly during baking and gives it a light, airy texture. Instead of flash freezing the dough like many other companies, Domino's chooses to cold proof it slowly under refrigerated conditions. This slow fermentation allows the yeast to work gradually, creating a deeper, more complex flavor in the crust. Once the dough balls are rounded, they move through a multi-tiered refrigerated conveyor system, where the temperature is carefully maintained at 39 degrees for about 1 hour. Once chilled, the dough moves onto the next conveyor, where workers quickly grab each piece and place them into custom plastic trays. Each tray is designed to hold exactly 6 dough balls, spaced evenly to prevent sticking as they continue to rise naturally during storage. Finally, the trays are stacked and moved into the cold storage area, where the dough rests under ideal conditions until it's ready to be shipped out to thousands of Domino's locations across the country. With its new sauce recipe, Domino's set out to deliver a richer, bolder flavor than ever before. This sauce features over 40% more herbs, with standout notes of garlic, oregano, and basil. The production process begins with the arrival of massive drums of tomato concentrate, each weighing up to 1,500 pounds. On average, the plant receives about 60 of these drums per week, enough to make between 2 and 2.4 million pizzas. These drums are lifted by a mechanized system and emptied into a high-capacity press, which thoroughly extracts every last drop of tomato concentrate. Water is then added to rehydrate and thin the concentrate, making it easier to pump through the plant's piping system. Within minutes, the sauce mixture is sent through pipes into a giant mixing tank that holds up to 1,300 gallons. Here, the tomato base is blended with precisely measured amounts of salt, vinegar, and sweeteners to create a well-balanced, flavorful foundation. At the same time, another large kettle is prepped. Olive oil is heated, then combined with onions, garlic, chili powder, basil, oregano, black pepper, citric acid, and dried mint. This spice mixture is lightly sautéed to release its aromas before being added to the tomato blend. Once all the ingredients are combined in the main mixing tank, the mixture is stirred and heated for about 5 minutes. The result is a smooth, rich pizza sauce packed with the aroma of herbs and spices. Finally, the finished sauce is sealed in cans to preserve its flavor and freshness. These cans are then shipped via refrigerated trucks to Domino's supply centers. Next up is the mozzarella cheese. Domino's partners with Leprino Foods, a trusted supplier that provides cheese to many major pizza chains around the world. At the factory, large blocks of mozzarella are delivered and go through a rigorous quality inspection process. From its signature flavor to the perfect stretch when melted on a pizza, each block is carefully examined by experts to ensure it meets the highest quality standards. Once approved, the cheese is sent through a cutting and pressing machine to break it down into smaller blocks. These blocks are then fed into a shredding machine that produces thin, soft mozzarella strands, ideal for melting evenly during baking. Finally, the shredded cheese is packed into 5-pound plastic bags, vacuum sealed to preserve freshness and flavor. These bags are then loaded onto refrigerated trucks and delivered to Domino's distribution centers. Now that we've covered the dough, sauce, and cheese, let's talk about the toppings, starting with everyone's favorite, pepperoni. Pepperoni, the classic must-have pizza topping, is a perfectly balanced blend of pork and beef. It's made primarily from pork shoulder and loin, chosen for their marbled fat that gives it a rich, savory flavor, combined with beef chuck to enhance the meaty taste and firm texture. The typical ratio is about 80% pork to 20% beef. The process begins by feeding the meat mixture into a large industrial grinder. Inside, high-speed rotating blades finely chop and blend the meat into a smooth, uniform mix. Before any seasoning is added, a beneficial bacteria called lactobacillus is introduced to kickstart the fermentation process that happens later. Next, the meat is seasoned with salt, cayenne pepper, concentrated paprika, and fennel seeds, giving pepperoni its signature spicy flavor. The seasoned mixture is then sent into a stuffing machine, which pushes it through a large pipe into a collagen casing made from beef. The sausage is tightly packed and sealed at both ends, forming long ropes of pepperoni. Workers hang these sausage ropes onto racks and move them into a fermentation room, where they are left to cure for 1 to 2 days under tightly controlled conditions, around 90 degrees and 80% humidity. This environment activates the lactobacillus, which consumes dextrose from the seasoning mix, creating the tangy, slightly sour flavor of pepperoni while also preventing harmful bacteria from growing. After fermentation, the pepperoni moves to a drying room, where the temperature is reduced to around 75 degrees Celsius. Here, the sausages are slowly dried over 55 days, losing about 40% of their weight. As moisture escapes through the casing, a natural white mold, Penicillium nalgiovense, forms on the outside. This mold is a natural part of the dry curing process and serves as a protective barrier against unwanted mold growth. Once perfectly aged, the outer casing is removed by machine, and the pepperoni ropes are fed into a high-speed slicer, which cuts them into perfectly even 2mm slices in just seconds. The freshly sliced pepperoni is then transported by conveyor to the packaging station, where it's vacuum sealed to lock in freshness. Finally, the sealed packs are sent to Domino's distribution centers and kept refrigerated until they're ready to top pizzas across the country. By this point, Domino's distribution centers are fully stocked with everything needed to make a complete pizza, from fresh dough and sauce to cheese and toppings. And with over 3 million pizzas sold every day, ingredients don't sit on the shelves for long. As soon as a franchise store places an order, everything is quickly packed and loaded onto refrigerated trucks. These deliveries usually happen overnight to avoid traffic and ensure the ingredients arrive on time without any supply chain hiccups. Once the truck reaches its destination, the ingredients are unloaded straight into the store's cold storage, ready for the next shift. Next comes the pizza ordering process. Since 2008, Domino's has offered an online order tracking system, letting you know exactly where your pizza is, from the moment it's confirmed to when it shows up at your door. It's a convenient, transparent, and fun feature for anyone eagerly waiting for their meal. Once the order is received, the pizza-making team jumps into action. Fresh dough, never frozen, is taken out of the cooler and allowed to rest for a few minutes to come to room temperature and rise evenly. Then it's time to build the pizza. Sauce is evenly spread across the dough, followed by shredded mozzarella cheese and toppings like pepperoni. The spicy salami made from pork and beef, seasoned with paprika for its signature color and flavor. The assembled pizza is then placed in an oven set to 465 degrees F and baked for about 7 minutes. Once the crust turns golden and crisp and the cheese is perfectly melted, the pizza is pulled out, sliced evenly, and placed into a cardboard box. Domino's workers can fold up to 50 pizza boxes in under 2 minutes, a truly impressive industrial pace. Finally, the pizza is placed into Domino's signature insulated bag, called the Heat Wave, which keeps it piping hot all the way to your doorstep. Delivery has always been a Domino's specialty, and they keep innovating. From flying drones and self-driving neuro vehicles to custom cars equipped with built-in ovens capable of carrying up to 80 hot pizzas at once.